How does ice fishing work? Okay, so we all know what ice fishing is. It's pretty common to see it in movies like Grumpy Old Men, and it's a staple in sitcoms. You know, two mismatched characters get stuck going on an ice fishing trip together and have some epiphany while out on the ice in the midst of zany hijinks. But I'd wager that not many of us actually know how ice fishing works. So as your guide to all things fishing, your pals at Go Fishing Now are stepping up. Hey there, Fishizens! Today we're going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about ice fishing. After this, you'll be cruising Airbnb for a sweet ice shanty to try your luck. Is that a thing? So, who was the first person who walked outside on a freezing cold day and wondered, let's stay outside and go fishing? Historians don't really have a definite answer, but they believe that it was first started by local groups in what is currently the United States and Canada approximately 2,000 years ago. It presumably started as a method of survival during the long periods of time when ice trapped the water. People realized that the fish were still there and they just needed to find a way to get to them. Hence, the basic idea of ice fishing was developed simply by carving out a hole in the ice and lancing any fish that swam by. Back then, they skewered the fish with wood or bone-tipped spears. Soon, innovations in ice fishing began to develop. Someone thought to place a structure over the opening, leaving just enough space to fish while shutting out all lights so the fish couldn't see them. This developed into what is known today as dark house fishing or dark house spearing. Fishermen today will place a dark, windowless structure over their fishing hole and create a decoy fish out of wood to hover by a string near the opening of the hole. When fish come to investigate, fishermen pounce and spear them. Once the idea was proven, it was here to stay, and the technology and technique advanced and the sport grew. Today, ice fishing is popular in Northern Europe as well as from Alaska to Maine across North America. Lake Simcoe in Canada has declared itself the ice fishing capital of the East, and thousands of anglers flock here every winter to try their hand at the sport. In Mille Lacs Lake in Minnesota, you'll see somewhere in the range of 5,000 ice shanties swarming the ice come the end of fall. Which one do you want to head to first? There are also ice fishing tournaments every year across the United States. But just a heads up, ice fishing isn't exactly easy. After all, plunging into freezing water is a quick way to get yourself killed. So the question remains, how do you stay comfortable and safe? The keys are knowing where and how. The first thing you should do is to test the ice. You can ask around local lodges or residents, or if you know how, you can check it for yourself by puncturing the ice with a drill or an etch. The rule is this: 2 inches will support a person, 6 inches will support a snowmobile, and 10 inches for a full-sized vehicle. There are a few places of equipment specifically made for testing the ice you may want to consider. A spud bar is a hand device used to check ice thickness, and a wood screw is useful for cutting into the ice. Next, you have to have the right tools. Essentials include metal spikes for your boots, a life vest, a whistle, hand spikes, and a rope with ties attached to a floater. You are also going to want a skimmer, which is the tool that scoops the forming ice out of the opening of your ice hole, and a gaff to get all the lunkers you're going to catch out from the ice. And if you feel like going big, because for some of us, the only other alternative is going home. You can invest in some pretty fancy gadgets to improve your chances of success and impress all your new ice fishing friends. These include an electronic depth finder to measure the thickness and depth of the frozen surface through the ice, a flasher that shows when fish are nearby and enter a trap, a submerged camera to let you see underwater, and a GPS to help you find your preferred angling openings and get back home when you're done. And now that you've got all this stuff, you need to get it to your fishing hole. The simplest way is a sled. It's effective and simple enough, but if you want to step up your badassery, then may we suggest a snowmobile. The snowmobile will considerably increase the fun level, but you'll need to be aware of the ice thickness wherever you go. Whatever you decide, make sure you leave enough room to bring back all the fish you are gonna catch. Alright, we found our location, we've got our gear, and we know our history. So let's go fishing now. Just like the history taught us, ice fishing begins with carving numerous holes in the ice. To do so requires either a spud or a twist drill fueled by hand or by a little engine. 6 inches across is fine for most angling, but 8 and 10-inch twist drills do exist if you're a go-getter. Just keep in mind that drilling a larger hole takes a lot more effort. Once you've got your hole, you have 3 essential methods for angling to choose from: with a pole, with traps, or jigging with a spring bobber. Poles are utilized for vertical fishing, which will, in general, be the simplest method. Some people make their own poles out of hockey sticks, probably the Canadians. Traps, also known as inclines or tip-ups, are used to catch the bigger fish. Traps allow ice anglers to cover more area than they could with a single pole. When a fish takes a nibble at the bait, the trap will start to move to signal the fisherman above. The last technique is jigging with a spring bobber. You can use minnows, waxworms, or other live bait. A spring bobber is much more delicate than a standard bobber, so you'll be able to see even the teeniest motion of a nearby fish. When the spring bobber starts to move, you'll know a fish is thinking about having some lunch. So that's the technique. Be sure to check out our craziest things caught while ice fishing video to learn about some of the things you can catch. These include record lake trout and even a 600-pound shark that had to be pulled out of the water with a snowmobile. Also, check out the ice shanty video to learn about catching fish through your floor while staying warm and comfortable. Does it affect my badass card status to say that I think that sounds awesome? Probably. Fine. I'll go wrestle alligators while growing a beard later today to get it back. Well, folks, there you have it. What do you think about ice fishing? Are you gonna give it a try? Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you like this video and tune in for new fishing videos every day. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, or we'll hide out in your dark house and pop out and yell boo when you least expect it.